Hey guys, what is up and welcome back. So for today's video, I have a long awaited review for you guys. This review is going to be on the Too Faced White Peach palette. Yay! So this does retail for $45 on Sephora site and on Too Faced site as well. So I will leave the links down below if you guys are interested in purchasing this for yourself. But let's get started. So this is how the packaging looks up close. This is how the cardboard box looks, and then this is how it looks on the back. I really like the ombre effect that's going on over here, like it's going from white to like purple, and then the peach in the middle. So cute. Too Faced always kills it with the packaging. On the back here it says bulk made in the USA and then assembled in Dominican Republic. So just for reference, once you open it up, look how cute the interior part of the box is. Freaking adorable. I love it. Like these little things like really count. Once you pull the palette out, it mimics the actual box to the most part, the ombre effect, and then you have the peach in here. Here the peach is like huge, here it's like tiny. This is how the packaging looks up close. Really cute. It has like that plasticky feel in the front. I really like it. And then the back of the palette is a mirrored gold as well as this part too. And then you have these two adorable baby peaches that are freaking cute. That's how you open it up. You just pull it up like that. There's a nice size mirror, and then you get a selection of 12 different eyeshadows. So this is how it looks on the inside. In here we are getting 7 matte shades. One shade that is a matte but it has little sparkles of glitter that doesn't really translate too much on the eyes. We have 1 satin and then 3 metallic-y kind of like loose glittery shadows. That's the best way I would be able to describe that. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with these swatches first so you guys can see like what kind of colors you're getting in here. And then I'm gonna talk about my experience with this palette, and then I'm gonna compare both of them in case you are curious. These were basically with 2 swipe swatches each. On the top here, we have like those metallic-y loose glitter shadows. Here's basically the selection of mattes. This is the satin right over here. And then this one is the matte with little specks of glitter. So let me start off with pretty much the mattes first. Then I'll start off with the satins and then these top shades here. All right, so in regards to the mattes, which is pretty much all of these shades besides for this one is a satin. The matte actually performed really nicely. Initially, when I started playing around with this palette, I was kind of like turned off because I feel like it just didn't perform as well as I wanted it to perform. After using the mattes a few times here and there, I was kind of like, okay, now I'm starting to see the good quality of this palette. Like initially, no. After a few times, yes. The mattes definitely could come across a bit chalky once you start using it, but I feel like once you get deep down in there, or like deep down, or like down in there, that sounds weird, but you know what I mean? It starts to perform really nice, just like we're used to in regards to the Too Faced matte shadows, the good ones that they have. In regards to chalkiness, also that was something that I experienced initially when I started opening it up, but as I played around with it, I feel like they just have a nicer, smoother consistency to them, and there is a nice amount of fallout. So once you dip your brush in there, you have to tap off the excess for sure, because it's very like, I don't know if it's like flaky, but yeah, there's like a lot of kick back and kick up once you dip your brushes in there. But once you tap it off and then apply the shadow on the eye, specifically in the crease, because that's where we usually put mattes, these really did work very well. I'll talk about the color selection soon because I have something to say about that. Then we have this shade, which is a satin shadow, and as you guys can see, it's a pretty nice gold. I really like to use this for like the inner corners or to highlight my brow bone. It's not super crazily intense, but it is pretty pigmented on the first try, and it looks really nice on. You can also use it on the lids, but it's not too bad. I would say it's a very like subtle, soft satin gold color. So that's in regards to this one, and I felt like the quality was really nice. And moving on to these 3, I would describe these as like metallic shades, but like loose glittery metallic shades, if that makes sense. This one right here is a gorgeous navy blue. The undertone is black, so it looks so good on the eye if you want to create a smoky look. Moving on to this one was kind of like a snowflake white type of color, and even when it's swatched twice, it wasn't as pigmented as the other metallic like loose glittery shades. So this was probably the only shade in here that was a huge pain in the ass to work with, and I'll explain why. Then we have this one, which is a really nice pinky color with a gold shift to it. So with these 3 different shades, I felt like when I used it with a brush, it like barely went on the eyes, especially with this one. I definitely had to go ahead and wet my brush with Fix Plus to actually get the product on the brush and have it stay there, and then have it apply nicely on the eyes. However, I still did feel like with the glittery shades, which is this one, or like the metallic-y like loose glitter shades, which is this one, and this one, I felt like those did perform better when I used it with my finger and then tapped it on the eye as opposed to swiping it on the eye. That way you get a nice amount of pigmentation and you don't have to go in 17 times. The shade that was the fail of this palette was this one, because I feel like it's such a gorgeous shade in the actual pan, but it just feels so much more chunkier and piecier and just not like the other ones. And to get that on the eye, you have to dig your ass in there. Like you have to dig like you're digging like up snow, you know? So this white one, which is actually called Peach Ice, is not a shade that I gravitate towards a lot because of the pain in the ass that it is. But the other ones, even though you still have to work a little bit more to actually make it look good on the eye, it's first of all worth it for those, and it's a little bit more easier than the Peach Ice shade. I think for me personally, it's just a bit tougher to actually come up with looks, because when I look at this palette, it's not like I could say, oh, this and this would pair well together, or that and that would pair well together. I would have really loved if they would have put like a mid-tone brown shade, because I feel like we have a nice selection of like light nude shades, but after that it's just this black, you know, like this grayish type of black. And I feel like in the crease it's not a major transition, because I like to build up my crease, and I feel like a lot of people do too, and it's just easier that way. But I feel like they're just missing that like mid-tone brown shade. In regards to the shade selection, I feel like this palette would not appeal to every single skin tone, which I feel like is just not fair or right, because it's kind of like if you're releasing something, make sure it's for everyone. I feel like if you have a medium to deep skin tone, half of these shades are not going to work for you. I mean, some of these will work, but half of them will not, and I don't know if it'll be worth it for you to pick up. If you're fair, this might be something that you're interested in, or light in skin tone, this also might be nice, but I just kind of feel like it's not fair, because I would feel so like excluded if something wouldn't work for me because of like my skin tone. It's just kind of like, what the heck, you know? All right, so now let me go ahead and compare it to the Just Peachy palette right over here. So this is how the palettes look side by side. The Just Peachy palette, which is this one, has only matte shades, and then the White Peaches palette has a selection of different finishes. The size of the pans are the same. This one right here, which is the warm Just Peachy palette, has a nice selection of warm shades, and then this one right here, which is the White Peaches palette, has more of a selection of cool tone shades. So you guys can see, compared to each other, they are super different. If you were contemplating on the White Peaches palette, which is this one, and you just didn't know if the shades are the same or like similar or what, they're very, very different. I will say that these two palettes do pair well pretty nicely, so if you have one and you want to get the other, you can definitely, you know, mix and match some of these shades, and you could create a really nice eye look. So if I had to choose between both of these palettes, I would definitely gravitate towards the Just Peachy palette, because first of all, the shades are really beautiful. I like the shades in here as well, but I feel like it's a bit harder for me to come up with looks just using this. With this, you can totally use it on its own and it looks great. You can definitely pop in other palettes to put a nice like shimmery shade on the lid, or you can pop this out to put a nice shade on the lid. But if you want to go for an all matte look, this is great. And it has like the perfect amount of like transition shades. So I really like this. And in addition to that, this palette is very consistent, and I feel like every single shade in here is like perfect. This palette, you have shades that are really good, and you have like one or two shades that are just not as consistent as the other shadows in the palette. And then also initially this, I don't know, the quality was not the best until I like, you know, got deep down in there, like I mentioned before. With this one, initially when I opened it up and I started playing around with it, I truly fell in love with it right away. If you guys want to see me create a look with this eyeshadow palette, then definitely let me know. But if you guys were still interested in this, I hope that this video helped you guys out in your decision making. If you guys have any questions, if I missed out on anything, then definitely let me know. But I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you guys in my next one.